And just like that, we're live. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michaels. I'm glad that you're here. Glad that you logged in to the greatest paragliding talk show on Thursday nights, 6 o'clock Pacific time on the internet. My screen is still locked up. So I'm going to make sure this is live before I do my full pitch.
Yep.
Says we're live. Well, if this is working, welcome. If it's not working, you're not hearing this anyways. Glad you're here. So stoked about tonight's show. Max Marien is with us. Max Marien, he's actually the founder of maxacro.com. You want to go check out his website for sure. We're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about all things flying. Oh, it's going to be great. I see everybody's logging in. Welcome. Glad you guys are logging in. Let me just get my stuff together here. Still showing that I'm processing. I'm getting this spinny wheel of death. This spinny wheel. Speaking of spinning wheel, we are going to give away some stuff tonight. We're giving away some stickers. We have some paraglidingtalk.com stickers. Those are easy to mail out, cheap. Everybody wants one.
Unless
So
they
we're
go
going to do
to
that. We'll probably give
Australia.
Unless they go to Australia, then they don't get nothing. Yeah, there we go. Sponsors. That's what we're talking about right now. Harley Milne runs a school in California. It's called DreamLifterParamotors.com. You want to get some training? You know you do. The best training for maybe some world record type stuff. You're going to do that with Harley Milne. Again, his website is DreamLifterParamotors.com. He's got some really cool adventures under his belt, and we're gonna have to support him. He's got a great school, and I know he's had a few students now, and he's trucking right along. So if you want to support him, if you want to get some training, it's really good here in Southern California. That's a place to do it. Also want to mention Andrew Fuller. He's got a full service wing repair and checkup shop. Paraglider-inspection.myshopify.com. Those links will be in the description. Also, Gringo's dropping them in the chat. Go check them out. If you need something fixed, maybe you need your line check, you want to get a repair job done, or maybe you want to add some things to that require stitching. He also does repacks and amongst other things. Go check out his website, pbgsmoke.com. There's some updates. pbgsmoke.com is the website. They've got the Unity Headset 2 came out, so you can go and check out those. They are, the guys have been using them. I haven't heard too many issues. I did get a message today that 7% of all the units that were sent out had a little glitch. And he said, not to worry, going to take care of you. So that's pretty cool. It sounds like if that's the only thing, it had something to do with the microphone. That's great news. So ppgsmoke.com is the website. Lamels, chase cams, floats. He's got all kinds of great stuff on his website. Go check that out. Paramotorprops.com. Blow up a prop. It happens. I blew up 2 in one day one time. That's where we're at, Max. 2 props in one day. Yeah. One I had repaired. Okay, so I made my repair, and I'm talking like a mold repair, like a full on. It involved many of days fixing and balancing and all that. So that was my backup. I had bought a new one, and then I had the backup. So I chipped the brand new one. I'm like, oh, gonna have to repair that one. Put the repaired one on there. Came in for landing. Did like a little lean back too far, and took one of the. Yeah, just one. Yeah. And I didn't even know until the end. So at least I got to fly that day. Yeah. Max Marien with us. So glad that you took the time to come and join us. I really appreciate you coming. I know you're doing some training this morning, you said, with one of your students at Little Black. You just came back from an SIV weekend, which is got to be taxing. I do want to talk about that a little bit. I remember the energy. It's like you're going into a portal. You're going into another dimension when you go through an SIV. And I can't imagine what it's like to instruct an SIV, let alone, I could barely handle just going to one. So it's pretty impressive and cool. And I'm stoked about your new website, maxacro.com. All kinds of cool stuff going on there. Some upcoming events. I do want to ask some questions about that, talk to you about that. And so super stoked. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely, Robert. Thank you very much for having me. There's a couple things that I would, like to tell you guys a little bit about since, I'm here, right?
Yeah.
Might as well.
Come on, somebody.
I just hosted the second annual Max Acro Invitational Competition, which is the only U.S. acro competition that has happened since Chris Santacroce hosted one way back in 2011. I just developed a scholarship program for guys under 25 that are aspiring acro pilots that are also professionals in paragliding. So that means they work as a tandem pilot or an instructor or have some other aspiration to work in paragliding. And then the last thing I would like to mention is that I just opened my full beginner training PASA approved school, and that is San Diego Paragliding School, which I'm very stoked about it. As you mentioned, I just today got the permits to be able to operate all legit and whatnot, which is huge. It's actually something that's never been done in the history in paragliding schools in San Diego. So
wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations, and I'm impressed with your tenacity.
Thank you. I just have one student right now, so he's getting my full attention. He just did 3 flights today at Little Black this morning. Beautiful. Had his first one yesterday, which ended up going a little long. I went off into the brush there, which is, as you can imagine, to be expected on a very first flight, especially when there was, as much lift as there was in the air. A sled ride from Little Black's usually like a minute, and he was up for about 3. So just to give you an idea, a little lifty there for his first flight.
Get down.
The typical, approach to the landing zone for a sled ride was, not what happened. But anyways, he had a great first flight yesterday, great, 3 flights today, well on his way.
And do you say it was a long day because he landed in the bushes and you got to untangle him and pick him out of there?
Oh, it wasn't too bad. He wound up in a pretty good spot. No tall brush, just little guys. That's always fun though. Yeah, that's the beauty of Little Black.
Yeah, I've used every bit of Little Black. If you went back and followed my tracks, if I would have tracked everywhere, there'd be pings all over that whole mountain.
Yeah.
I botched a couple launches and landed at like 20 or 30 feet down the hill in tall brush where it's over my head and my wings like over here. Okay, I'm gonna get that out of there. Spend like 2 hours and go into the dark, picking your wing out. That's all. So it's good for you.
It's your home
site. That's
right?
cool.
That's where you learned to fly, right, Robert?
That is my home site. Yeah, it is. I mean, I feel like Blossom should be my home site, but you can't really, I don't think you can be born at Blossom. It's kind of a dangerous place to be born as a paraglider pilot. It could happen, I guess.
I had a couple first flights out there when we still had the landing zone. I guess if you just went straight out to the hang glider landing zone, could be possible.
Yeah, you'd probably be fine. Yeah. You're not supposed to do that though.
For sure.
At one point, I guess it was cool. So the last SIV that you did, I saw some footage on one of my friends that I follow on Instagram, and Ian Kirk.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, gosh, that looks like Berryessa. And I messaged him. I was like, did you just do an SIV with Max? And he was like, yep. I'm like, oh, dude, that's awesome. So just so you know, I don't know if you follow him on Instagram, but he's got a bajillion followers on Instagram, and then he's posting these videos that are him getting all tangled up and trying all kinds of crazy stuff. He's a wild man.
Ian's been,
Ian.
I mean, I've been friends with Ian for a good bit now. I'd venture to say it must have been 2015 is when we did an SIV at Lake Don Pedro. I think and maybe I knew him before then from Tori, or came and did a tandem clinic with Gabe way back in the day. Anyways, he started coming to the clinics like last year, midway through the year. He has been to, I don't know, probably about 10 SIVs now. He comes to every single one, and now he is officially one of the Max Acro team pilots.
What? I did not know that. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
I love that
cool
guy.
Dude.
Ian is such a cool dude. Really stoked.
We had him on the show, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Just Ian's rad. Love you, Ian.
Yeah, he's a good dude. So there's a few questions right out of the gate. Mad Sloper, which I believe Mad Sloper is getting he's gonna sell a couple of his kids and get a tow winch. And he's asking some questions, and I'm interested in these too. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about SIV. I know it's kind of boring for you because it's all you do. But
okay, I know it well. That's all right.
You know it well, and but I'll keep them short. Mad Sloper's question: he says, "How high is the typical tow for his SIV courses? How long does it take to get altitude? And what's the window for working maneuvers during SIV?" So, how high? I could comment on that. I think I was getting between like 35 and 45. I think the very highest I got was probably like $4,000.
$4,000 would be a really awesome tow. The spools typically we use about 5,500 feet of line, so you usually end up at 3,000 to 4,000 is normal. Sometimes more, if the line really stands up tall, but you always, you can't get to $6,000 on a 6,000 foot line because of the angle. So if you come off with all of the line out, which typically is 5,500 feet, you'll be right at about, just shy of $4,000.
And when you, and this is one of my questions, what makes a good tow between the tow operator and the pilot?
Okay, so there's positioning, right? Positioning for the end of the tow ultimately boils down to a lot of altitude, either gained or lost. So ultimately, we want to run a big enough pattern that we can get all the line out and have the pilot in good positioning. If you do too short of a pattern, then you can keep on going. If you have a big enough lake, like Berryessa is huge, we can keep on going, but then you're basically just losing altitude because of the distance you'd have to glide back. So on the other hand, if you run out of line early, like you do too big of a pattern and you put all the line out, that's not like a worst case scenario for the pilot, because you will get the highest tow that you can possibly get, but it's not that great for the boat driver, really, because he has to then slow down, pull the line back in, continue driving, and maybe do that a couple times to get you back into positioning.
And if you have a grumpy boat driver, tow operator, you're going to be hearing it on the radio.
We eliminated that problem. This year we've got some great guys. Topher Mira, I don't know if you
I know Topher. Yeah,
Topher has been rad. He has been such high energy. He's such a great dude. He's
a champ.
He's our main guy. He's unfortunately not able to make it every single clinic, but I try to get him out from he lives on the East Coast in Massachusetts, so try to get him out as much as possible. Mo Gottschalk, he is a Team Fly Halo guy. So paramotor guy by trade. He actually came to us as a student of an SIV like 2 years ago, first SIV of the year. He came out new to the sport, was flying the Dominator, which I love to make
Really?
fun of when it flies. Yeah, he was flying the Dominator. Got him up there, and he, very skilled mechanical, but also just a great human being. Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome dude. And now he is living at Berryessa full time in a trailer, and he does mine and Dylan's clinic. So he is, we figured out, the most experienced tow operator, most experienced tow tech in the world. Nobody does more tows than Moto.
Moto. You got the best two tow. You got Topher and you
So
got Moto.
Moto.
Dang.
And then there's also Tylor. Tylor is a badass. He's also a Team Fly Halo guy. He also came to us a few years back as a student. Good mechanical brain. Like, to be a tow tech, to be a tow operator, you've got to be mechanic. And yeah,
Be a
Tylor,
thinker.
he's awesome. He's got good energy, good heart, fun dude. Call him Captain Jack because he's got that, Captain Jack Sparrow kind of look as he's driving the boat with his, bandana, big long, flowy hair, and he's got awesome energy too. So I love all three of those guys. Those are my main guys. And then we also had James McDonald. He came out for the Acro comp and subbed in as a tow tech for Topher, and that was great. James is awesome. He's a wealth of knowledge, has a lot of skydiving experience, and he is very, very good at what he does. So a few guys, we're running 2 boats. Clinics are maxing out at 16 participants. So we got 16 pilots, and so they're basically, one's coming down and the next one's towing up. And so the flow, you remember from when you went.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. I don't know. It's not that I wasn't hungry, but man, every time it was my turn, it was like, already? Okay. All right, I'm ready. I'll go. But man, I was just vibing off of everybody else and all the action, and I'm playing around with the cameras, and every once in a while you jump on a boat and go with the tow guy and maybe learn some stuff, or maybe you're gonna run the tag or whatever. There was all kinds of things going on the whole time, but every time it was like, oh, it's me again. All right, Robert, get your crap together. Yep, okay, yes, sir. Get out there.
Seems like he felt like he was on a field day.
Oh man, it was
when you're
fun.
a kid in elementary school field day, you have, one day of exercise and wear all your energy out so the teachers can tolerate you, kind of deal. And that's what it sounds like you were going through there, was like field day or a field trip.
Now, I know Max personally, so we were friends before I did the tow with him. I bet some people would be like, man, if I don't know who the guy on radio is very well, his character or his background, I'd be a little leery of doing every command that's coming across the radio. But with Max, I already knew, and I could trust his history in the sport. When he said something on radio that sounded like, okay, I know that's not going to go well for my wing, he'd be like, okay, we're going to do this, and this. And then I would go after it. And after I was done, I was like, wow, I can't believe that. I'll give you one example. Collapse sat. Such a strange concept, but it really works.
The auto rotation, as it's professionally known, collapse sat is kind of my little spin on it. I'm like calling it as it is. And,
it's literally, it's literally, we talked, we were joking around, me and Dave Hunt. We were at Big Black. I said we should do a synchronized collapse at and scream in the radio that there's a dust devil. we haven't done that yet. But
Freak out all the
yeah,
hang
I'm
gliders.
telling you.
You pull that one, the hang gliders are just going to lose it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I saw amazing flight by one of the guys from Crestline. I read the article this morning. You guys on Telegram? The Crestline Telegram group. I just let you guys in on a secret. Maybe I wasn't supposed to. Anyways, guy Owen Morse, he broke the out and return flight from Crestline. Pretty cool. He recorded his track. Very neat. Let's get some more questions. So Mad Sloper, what's the typical progression of maneuvers when a student comes to the SIV course?
So the first thing I'd start out with is big ears, speed bar, and roll oscillation. I call it rock the boat. It's a wonderful technique for descending and running away from something. So if you need to get out of a cloud or away from a ridge, first big ears, then speed bar, and then little roll oscillations, not to do like wing overs, but just to keep the wing a little off axis to lose height. Normal deflations, non-accelerated deflation. So that's all the A's, pull them down, let them go. Asymmetric is half the A's, pull them down, let them go. Practice a little bit of dynamic movement. So that would be pitch oscillation to dynamic turn is another one. And then I will typically, that'll be like run one. Second run would be getting into more accelerated deflations, holding down deflations to simulate cravat, and then maintaining heading, turning away, turning towards it, and then correcting. I'll have guys practice with basically wing over-esque inputs on their harness. So that would be just, without any brake, just reach up, grab the risers, and give strong weight shift only shifts in the harness, and that's not so much to build it up that way, just to practice with that that function. And then after that run, then we progress into spiraling, auto rotation, and which is collapse set. And then also rapid descent technique, which is basically the same as auto rotation, except you're spiraling away from it. So you pull and hold it, asymmetric deflation, and then go into a spiral dive away from the deflation. And that's a really good, fast, rapid descent technique. Hopefully you guys never need to use that one, but if you do have a situation where you need to get down fast, that is a really good one because it eliminates a lot of the G-force that you would experience with a spiral dive, but right. You come down,
it's not as hard on your glider,
not as harsh, and you come down almost as fast as if you were spiraling.
Or so that old school B stall.
Yeah, you do the B stall. A lot of pilots say it's really hard to hold, especially for weaker upper body strength kind of situations. That's a lot of pressure on the arms, and certain gliders, you'd have to read, your manufacturer's recommendation on it. It's supposedly harmful to the internal structure with certain gliders.
Yep. Used to be that was all that was taught.
Day two, stalls, and spins, and more stalls. I like to teach the stall ball to start out with, which is like a simple version. You just pull your brakes down and hold them. And then I don't teach a slow release because slow release typically leads to yaw rotation. I teach a kind of a stage, just pause at the carabiners, hands all the way up, check the surge. My technique for that one. And then a little bit of backfly, which is stall and then kind of gradually come up, but be prepared for that, basically heli. When we get real high up in the brakes in a stall, the glider becomes more yaw unstable and wants to start to rotate one way or the other. So, another one that I really like, I call the flashback, which is a quick 180 spin. I actually had an incident where I hit a line and it was kind of later in the day. I was wearing sunglasses. I, didn't see it until I was, I don't know, like 15 feet away from it, something like that. And the technique is basically look back over your shoulder, bury the brake, immediately, release and just make the glider fly in the opposite direction. And I was able to, I basically hit the line, but with my back, and then flew away from it. So that little thing really saved my butt on that day.
Flashback. I remember doing those.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, if you came to the SIV and you're like, I already know what I want to learn, you're not going to get just, shoved off into the corner and said, no, and you're doing what I say, and we're going to, milk this time. You can literally show up. And if you've had especially if you had a handful of SIVs, you can say, hey, today I literally want to spend the whole time just trying to lock in my helicopter. You can do that.
Like I had a
now,
guy
if you're
that,
obviously not ready.
I had a guy that came to this last SIV with a lot of stall experience. He'd been practicing with a Delta, had a whole bunch of stall experience, and then he was on the new, I think it's Arctic something, Niviak 2 liner C class glider.
Oh yeah.
And he was just focused on stalls. Just focus on stall, recover the whole time. Really wonderful technique in, kind of worst case scenario type events.
Yeah. And it's the great reset. So if you get all jacked up, it's the kind of, I don't want to say the default, because there's always a scenario. There's always something that you can think about or work on before you have to throw your reserve. But I don't want to get too much into that stuff. I want to stay on SIV. I get so excited. I'm a rabbit hole. Chase that thing down there. So,
well, you want to move on to talking about the competition, right?
Oh yeah. So let's do this real quick. Let's give away a couple things. We're going to give away 2 stickers. So we're going to spin the wheel twice. We're going to let Sean off of work. Yeah. Since we're
I'm
at that
experiencing
half-hour mark.
a severe thunderstorm that's cracking pretty good out here. So it's like you called it a good time, Robert. All right, so we're going to spin it twice, correct?
Yep. Yeah, we're going to give a couple of these Paraglidingtalk.com stickers. You're going to want one.
All right, here we go. I'm going to automatically start spinning. Ready?
Yeah,
set,
let it rip.
Go.
All right, the spin of this wheel is brought to you by Calamity Kite Clinic. CalamityKiteClinic.com is the website. You want to learn how to ground handle better? You want some instruction in that? For a small token, you can learn how to ground handle with the best. Calamity Kite Clinic's run by Sean. Sean Napsker has many of years of flying all kinds of things, but ground handling really is where he shines. He'll help you and teach you the techniques that you need so you can be better at ground handling. Also want to mention the Nebraska PPG, Josh Bowden. He runs a paramotoring school in Nebraska. If you're interested in getting some top-notch training, you can sign up with Josh and his team today. There's a link in the description. My internet is just as blurry as it gets. Oh, I'm trying to just decipher whatever that hieroglyphic is.
Defying gravity.
Defying gravity.
Yeah. Congratulations, defying gravity.
I can't believe you have the Debbie Downer sound when they win. That's the sound.
Well, I do that.
You only got a bumper sticker.
Well, see, I do that because there's so many people looking forward to winning that, you can only make one person's day. So that sound is for everyone else that didn't win,
It's true. It's true.
Kind of cheer them up a little bit,
I wrote that one down. So defying gravity, please reach out to me at paraglidingtalk.com/contact. Just put your address in there and I'll send this out to you right away. And I'll probably throw some other goodies in there. Got all kinds of stickers. I need to get out of my desk.
Ready for the other
I got a few
yeah.
I could throw in there too, buddy. I'll send you some max.
You got what?
I've got a few stickers.
Oh, there
too.
you go. Yeah, all right. That sounds great. Okay, yeah, go ahead and let it rip one more time.
There we go.
As long as you've got internet and the storm hasn't taken out your internet. The spin of this wheel is brought to you by Lone Star Paramotor. If you're in the Lone Star state of Texas, you can reach out to Ron Turan and his team for world-class training. Their website is lonestarparamotor.com. Reach out to Ron. He's a good guy. He's got a great organization. They've been doing it for years and years. They got a great track record and a really good place to train you. You're not going to want to miss training at lonestarparamotor.com. Yeah, man. I'm actually starting to get low on these bumper stickers. I might have to order another run of these. We gave so many away at different events. Gringo was driving all over the place at the fly-ins. I couldn't make the last one.
Oh, it's gonna be David Wolf.
I think it's gonna be.
Does it say David Wolf?
Yeah, all right.
That is so funny.
David Wolf.
I don't know if it's ironic, but David Wolf messaged me today and he was like, "Hey, what's your address? I want to send you some stickers." I'm not joking. He literally texted me before the show. So David, please send me your address and I will send you some stickers. Okay, now my computer is completely frozen. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Can you see me?
No,
Whoa.
we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Yeah. Only
frozen,
black.
but you're talking, but you're frozen.
Yeah, my computer's frozen up, it looks like. I don't know. It usually will glitch back to right after the spinny wheel, glitch back to our regular scheduled program, but it's not doing it. Let me see if I can move some stuff around here.
In another news, this program is brought to you by Duff.
Nice.
Like that, I got that in San Francisco at the big candy shop there in the Fisherman's Wharf. Thought that was
That's awesome.
Yeah, with you guys. It's a orange soda, actually.
Nice.
Non-alcoholic. There you go.
Duff beer.
I was gonna say, does it make you say dough after you drink it?
The world looks a little different. My wife's skin is just turned straight yellow, and her hair is blue. Very tall. The taste of The Simpsons.
All right, so I think it's official. We lost Robert.
Oh,
So
Robert.
while we wait for him, he's going to have to log back on. We'll just go through, finish up some of the questions so he can get in there. Matt Sloper. So Shane Wyman, what could I expect for the first SIV 110-hour pilot? Expect for first SIV 110-hour pilot. Is there standard that Max teaches by hour to hour? I'm sorry, by hour, or how many SIVs a student has done?
Okay, so I had Trevor Steele. Trevor Steele came to this SIV. You guys probably heard of him.
Nice.
And he's been flying since he was 12, right? So I don't know, which is now like 12 years or so. Great guy. He really got a lot of it. So at the end of Trevor's SIV, he was practicing helis. He basically went and just kind of proved to me real quick that he had good control over his wing. He's flying a black light, actual paragliding wing. He went out and smashed some deflation. So, rather than starting out with just the small unaccelerated deflations, he went, right into putting some bar into it, getting a little more aggressive, winding the glider up, showing me that he had good control over it by demonstrating wing overs, asymmetric spiral, and reversal. And then, moved right into just doing lots of stalls. He'd never done stalls before, but man, he crushed it. He was doing stall, like full runs of stalls, and then working on heli. So that's just to give you an idea of like a veteran paramotor pilot, getting getting out there for the first time. So I work with the pilot on an individual basis. My program, I have a curriculum, I have maneuvers that I want everybody to get to, but depending on where the pilot skill level is at, we might just focus on the beginner stuff on day one. If it's a newer pilot, we'll stay with just regular deflations and just take a little more of a mellow approach. So I tailor the program to the pilot.
So so obviously you're starting to see some PPG, some motor guys transition into free flight. What do you see as some of the struggles or the challenges going from motor to free flight? Like obviously we've joked about when Robert and Tony Boyer were out at Salton Sea and they wanted to torpedo their motors into the air. But what do you see like for from PPG to free flight and in that SIV? What kind of challenges do you see?
Well, one of the big advantages that power guys have is you have a lot more experience, a lot more flight time and time of meaningful control. Paragliding, we tend to just chase the lift and are a little bit confined to, flying the lift band. And so the experience that we get is always in a way of trying to just stay up. With motor guys, that's not really concerned, and so they tend to have more meaningful experience with things like maybe wing overs or just maneuvering in general. So I'd say that actually motor pilots tend to come with a little more umph, a little bit more into their first SIV. The big struggle I see though is that when they don't have the motor, they tend to struggle with things like wing overs. Energy is not going to build as easily as they're used to. And so we see just the struggle with having to be more commanding of a lightly loaded wing.
I made it back, guys. Sorry for what happened. My computer just completely glitched. This is a brand new computer. It's completely glitched, gray screen, and then all of my apps that were open all started to open, reopen, and stack on each other. I made it back though. I'm safe.
Just in time to thank Will Fly.
Yeah, Will Fly. Thank you for your contribution. Donated $5 to the super chat. He said Resurgence PPG rocks, and they do. If you want to support our men and women of uniform, you can do that by making a tax-deductible donation to resurgencepppg.com. When you do that, again, you're supporting our men and women of uniform. If you want to reach out to Todd Scandra, you can do that by going to resurgencepppg.com.
And yes, I am member, in case that was a question on anybody's mind. That's
Oh man, last Saturday I got so toasted. I graded all the property. There's 12 acres. I graded probably 8 acres.
It was getting weedy there, man. It's getting weedy. How'd you like my launch?
Oh yeah, I got it on my GoPro still. I should send that to you.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
I literally dipped down and then took right off.
You did fine.
Rob.
I was chasing you.
It was a good
drinking my morning drink.
Oh yeah. It was the wind shifted right when Jeff Hammond and I were getting ready to take off, and we set up the long way. We had 100 yards to run, space to run, and then the wind shifted at the last second, so we got shorted to 30-40 yards or so, which still wasn't bad. It was a very, very slight breeze, if anything. We flew. It was awesome. We flew out to the desert from Robert's house, and it was 90 degrees up there.
Well, no, there's a crazy story, but we'll save it for the after show. So join the after show to hear Anthony Peregringo's crazy story of what happened. He's got a couple of them actually.
Two on the same flight.
Skyler Acosta asked, he said, if all we have is 2D PPG wings, does Max have wings to utilize?
Yes. Mo actually has a couple on hand, and he's very willing to lend any paramotor guys his Dominator, which is
Dude,
actually
that is
the
very kind.
world's best paraglider. In case
Yeah.
you're wondering, it SIVs itself. You know, when you go to do a heli on the Dominator, you stay perfectly still and the world revolves around.
That is
Got that
awesome.
in the back for it's actually a wonderful wing for first SIV. Just throwing that out there. Pretty mellow.
Now I want to fly one.
I did.
Just try.
I did. I flew it at Sand City.
Really?
Dominated.
Nice. Who had a Dominator that you could fly?
Mo, my my
Nice.
Turco.
That's pretty rad. Okay, I want to go to Salton Sea this year now. I know it's what is it, February?
Yeah. Did
I
you,
got a long way to wait.
Robert, did you read Yankees question?
Let me see here. Was it about
Tow-up flights? Do tow-up flights qualify for distant records versus launch sites? Oh, I think you answered that in the chat.
Yeah, but I didn't really go into that.
Yes.
There you
Would
go.
be the answer. Yes. So get a really long line and tow up to 10 grand, and there you go. There you start.
You win. Skyler with another question. He said, oh, that's a duplicate. You guys are on top of it. That's cool.
That's because
Well, see, that's how we roll. You know, Gringo was asking
Sean
the
likes to steal
questions.
everybody's job.
Well, see, Gringo was asking the questions while you were gone, so I took care of the questions while he was asking Max the questions. So that way it was like a revolving ball, you know? Once you come back in, then we're back in our old
you
function.
underestimated me.
Speaking of getting back in, you guys need to appreciate that I hacked the system to get back in, because once you don't have a Zoom meeting, it's like join the Zoom meeting.
That's right.
What button do I press? Like I created that meeting.
One of us automatically becomes host, though.
Yeah. And then I took it back as soon as I logged in. So weird.
Yeah.
See, what people don't know is before the show, me and Gringo do rock, papers, and scissors, and whoever wins that, then they get the host if Robert fails or something happens. You know, we covered this really well, Robert.
Max Acro, who's the most polarizing Acro pilot today?
Polarizing?
Yeah. Who's got the stand? Yeah. Who?
What do you mean by polarizing? Like
you've been polarizing and on the scene in the beginning days and during certain events in your life, but there's these guys that are on stage right now that it's like, golly, how much crazier can you be with your Acro? I'm seeing these videos and they're really well recorded videos where you have like 3 different perspectives and they're doing the most insane twisted everything. Who stands out to you? I mean, because literally the world doesn't care about my opinion, because I'd be like, I think so-and-so, but everybody's leaning in to hear what Max has to say. Who's got your attention, Max?
Ali Yasil. Ali is the number one pilot in Turkey, and him and Kevin Phillips, who's also referred to as Kevin the Comet. He's the one who, got famous off the that guy. So him and
Kevin Comet. I didn't know they called that.
They fly together quite a bit in Alumnes, and a lot of those videos that you're referring to are of either Ollie or Kevin, and they're both phenomenal pilots. All those guys are just so good. They're all in that. It's hard to say like really who is like the best or most polarizing. Some of those videos are just spectacular, and they're all just filmed with an iPhone. As far as I understand, it's
iPhone, like a GoPro.
Just getting the angle right, getting the shot, making it clean, making it perfect. One thing I'll say is that Kevin Phillips video where he did a hardcore infinite entry, and then to Devil's Twist, which is like just crossing the risers. When you start twisted, and then on entry twist and untwist and twist.
A
you know, and
full
then
twist. Yeah.
so yeah, he does entry, twist on twist, let next tumble, twist on twist, and then next tumble after that he does front flip, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool sequence to
That is
get
pretty cool.
one and the next and the next, you know, like back to back like that. So that inspired me, and I went up
haven't seen
and
that.
did my first hardcore infinite entry after seeing that video. So
You
I give
did
it
it.
credit.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So I'll share with you guys one time when we were doing our runs at the SIV clinic, I gave Max my GoPro and I was like, here, because you can't really see what he's doing up there. I mean, it's hard to tell all the dynamics. You just see a wing doing crazy stuff and it's cool. But when he came and landed, he's like, here you go. Oh man, I was so stoked when I got in front of my computer to see all the little things he was doing up there. It was amazing. He's doing infinite tumble and he's doing like front flips. I think you do a double? You're like, maybe not a double.
It was a tumble flip. So flip inside the tumble and a front
and
flip.
then flipping. Yeah, because you got these carabiners that can like rotate or something.
Yeah,
and
swivel.
Yeah, so when I had to do a couple double takes when I was editing the video, I'm like, what? Wait a second. He did a flip right there. Did a couple times, bunch of cool stuff all the way down. Anyways, pretty amazing. How important is it to have a second reserve? This is a two-part question.
Mm-hmm.
How important is it to have that second reserve?
In what, acro or just, you know, speed flying or what? Depends on
Well,
the
now I'm
content.
going to, that's why I had to, there's a second part of the question. So when you come to a SIV clinic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely rock two reserves, you know, for SIV. We want to make sure that we have two. Failure rate on a reserve is right around like 5%. So 1 out of 20 fails.
Wow.
It's pretty high. And that has to do
that is pretty high.
The rotation, rotation typically during a reserve deployment causes the glider to basically fly back into the path of the reserve. So if the glider is spinning or doing like a sat, chances are pretty high that, reserves aren't, our reserve system, in case you've ever looked at it, is not like perfect or nothing. You're just throwing a bag with a reserve in it. Right.
You hope it's a parachute.
2 reserves is
it might be underwear.
Literally stuff the laundry in the bag.
And depends on the maneuvers that you're doing, how likely it is that, maybe the glider you're flying. But I just have everybody go up with 2 just to be cautious. And then flotation device too.
Water. Flotation is a good idea. Absolutely. So are you guys you have a preference on your flotation? I mean, like my harness floats really good, but that doesn't really count as flotation.
No, I mean, if you're conscious when you land in the water, then it doesn't really. It's not like you need a thing if you're conscious. It's really if you're knocked unconscious. It's just something to help keep your head up out of the water. Even if that system isn't perfect, because in theory you have a flotation already on with your harness, and having 2 flotation devices is not the way that they're supposed to work. But still, having something there will help. It's better than nothing.
Yeah,
but we find is with certain ones,
thought about that.
More buoyant ones, with the real big ones, they do keep the head out of the water. The problem is actually if you don't need it, it's a pain in the butt, because now you have that thing that one of those auto inflations with the CO2 cartridge, the thing blows up around you, and you're like, but since you're awake, you
here we go
or whatever, get rid of it. But if you ever, it has never happened at one of my clinics, but just for the peace of mind, it's good to have. Then a hook knife, just in case.
Just in case, have that thing patched on there somewhere, and you're easy to reach.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean, the hook
I'm-
knife is more if you had an issue with the line, the toe line. You know, if the toe line breaks, gets entangled with you. You know, there could be scenarios where you might want to have a hook knife to cut the trailing edge of the line off. The danger with a line break is if you are entangled with it or just still connected to it. As you get lower, the line could snag on, you know, whatever, or at the very least, it will create friction on the ground so that when you're landing, the glider will go nose down. It'll lock out against the friction of the line. So,
Ooh, yeah, that's a good thought.
because cut some stuff off,
Let's
throw a reserve, and then float on your floaty.
Yeah. What's your thoughts about wing choices for guys moving into Acro? What's your recommendation for these guys?
I really like. I mean, you know, the Air G makes a really good and affordable product for acro pilots. And, you know, I mean, Joe or Johannes. Joe is, he's a cool dude. He's a good guy. Basically, he put a lot of work and effort into that company as an employee. And Richard Guyon, who was the founder, basically just gave it to him. Said, here, have this company. So Joe is really putting his butt on the line. I'm getting myself a custom with my Max Acro logo on it, Carlito 17, which is you know, the machine made for doing stall to infinite. I tried that for my first time last October, and it didn't go very well because I didn't get the concept as good as I should have. But now I've got it. I'm ready. Getting a 17 meter Carlito, so I'm stoked for stall to infinite.
That thing winds up so fast.
Yeah,
So
it's a hot ship, and you know, 17 because I don't know, I'm slow, so
Yeah.
want a big glider, want a big acro wing at 17.
Yeah. 17. I can't even launch a 17 with a paramotor. Oh,
That'd be tough.
it is tough. What is my 19? I have a 19 meter Sirocco 2. Yeah, man. Don't try to take that up like to fly in the mountains. John Wayne donated $10 to Super Chat. Thank you for that kind investment into paraglidingtalk.com. If you want to support the show on Patreon and PayPal, the more that we have, the better things get for the show. Appreciate everybody that's been contributing. Everything that we've done with the show has been invested back into all kinds of different stuff. But I really appreciate everybody that's been a part of supporting the show from the beginning and like just giving yourself, especially the guys with the wrench next to your name. You're faithful to come and hang out and give your input, and safety is really principled in we have a good time, but it's also, you know, we walk away with something good. So if you feel like you want to support the show, maybe you got a bunch of good things out of it over the years, feel like maybe now it's time, chime in. Patreon, PayPal, or Super Chat. Appreciate your support. I don't recommend the Super Chat, really.
I think
they take
rappers
30% of that.
tell you guys, say, help us help you. You see,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
there.
Help me help you. I do want to get some new guests, and Max he's like homies with some of the.
I would love to have
dogs.
you have Mo on. I think Mo would be
really okay.
Great.
What's Mo's last name?
Gott's Shock. GOTT.
What is it?
I'll don't worry. I'll
text
it to you.
Text it to me.
Mo.
Yeah.
Have you had James McDonald on the show?
No.
Hopefully so.
Hold on.
How about have you had Topher? Topher would be.
I think I invited him, but he was trimming trees.
Yeah, he's busy.
What was it, James? What?
McDonald.
Okay. Does he know about the show?
Maybe. He's he lives in Tahoe, so you know, friends with Ian.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Who else could you interview? There's Mitch Neary in Tahoe. Oh.
And then the rest of them we'll
We
save
should
for
be-
the after show because we
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
need a Lindy running across all these special guests and then snatching
Oh,
up weight
yeah.
from us. I'm
Good.
just saying, Robert, we
Good
do have
catch
an
there,
internet
Sean.
stalker.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. My mom. That is awesome. So my last question, this has to do with inspiration, and you've been in the game now for a long time. I know most these consider Max to be young, and that's accurate. And I too am young. But now you're literally an OG to the sport. Where do you find inspiration after so many years?
Oh, that's an interesting question. It is something that I'd say is a struggle after 20 plus years in the sport. You start kind of running out of things to do as far as new avenues to pursue. At this point, I've gotten into paramotoring, speed flying, cross country. Acro has always been my main thing. Things like new equipment, new wings, new tricks. Those all keep me pretty entertained. I would say the biggest thing that really keeps me going is when I get feedback. The feedback that people have given me from the SIV training or beginner training. Any the times that somebody has had a profound experience that they say is life changing, and they share that with you. That is just amazing. To think that you're having, or I'm having, such a huge impact on people's lives in paragliding or through paragliding is really the major motivation. And that is something that will never get old.
Yeah, that is pretty exciting. My brother, he got the bug, man. He's gonna fly. He went on a tandem with a paramotor in Michigan. And he literally, I think in the video, he even said, he's like, "Here, take my wallet, take all my money." So he's in. So I got to send him a wing. I got an old beater. I'm going to send him in a harness. Yep.
All right. So before we close out, a couple things. Of course, reach out to me if you're interested in doing an SIV, but also if you're interested in furthering your acro career, learning some aerobatics or just progressing in acro, please at least talk to me. If not, come to a clinic and get some training. If you are under 25, I have an awesome scholarship program. You can read about it on the website. And there's going to be another acro invitational next year around the same time of year, so June, summertime. Please, guys, come to the event. All spectators are welcome, and it's a great way to support the acro community throughout the United States. I want to help bring acro to the U.S. and support the guys that are wanting to progress.
You think you ever get some of the big names come out?
What I would like to do, and I know we can say this for the after, but I have a thought on actually doing a true USHPA acro comp, rather than just the Max Acro Invitational has been for more of the guys in that sort of medium range. They're not quite the full professional acro pilots instructors, but I would like to do like a full legitimate USHPA acro comp. Possibly next year. Yeah. Just a thought.
All right, we're going to go to the after show. You should see a link here in the description here shortly. So appreciate you, Max. Thank you so much for coming on the show. As always, we have just not enough time. It just goes blasting by. It's such great information, such good vibes. Thank you for taking the time. And tell Cheyenne I said thank you for allowing you to come on the show. She's in the background, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah,
strings.
She gives the thumbs up.
Okay,
Thanks, Rob.
good. And we'll go to the after show if you want to join us for just a few minutes. Max will hang out for just maybe a minute or two afterwards, and come join us. Thanks for watching.